Hello, my name is Aaron Putterman. Today I will be running through some of the basics of the TI basic language, which has to deal with programming. So I have an emulator on my computer that I will be doing this through, and if anything is unclear, please let me know. I will try and clear that up. So first of all, you're going to want to turn on your calculator. You need a TI-84 Plus of some kind, or a TI-83, I believe will do the job as well. There are slightly varying languages for the other Texas Instrument calculators. The one I am very familiar with at this point is the TI-84's TI Basic language. So once you turn your calculator on down here, you're going to want to go up to Program, which is directly in the center of the calculator, and you're going to see Execute, Edit, and New at the top. So this first tab here, Execute, is where you will select the program that you would like to run. If you click the right arrow, you can go over to Edit. If you had any programs here, you'd be able to edit those so you could see the code that was within that program and make changes. You can do that whenever you want to. But we are going to start with the New category here. So we're going to create a new program. So once you go over to New, from Program New, we're going to go down here to Enter, and we're going to click Enter, and we're going to type in program name. Now, one thing that hinders programming language here is a lot of things are restricted by length. So a program name can only be 8 characters long, and the word program is already 7, so you can get an idea of how long it's going to be. And another important number to know is that with the TI-84 Plus at least, this varies depending on the calculator, but for the Plus, the screen length is only 16 characters wide, which is very annoying to me. But if you get the color edition version, which I definitely would recommend, you have up to 25 spaces, which is super useful when writing out notes or difficult code, I guess. So we'll call this program first, I guess. First. Yeah, okay. So I just wanted to show you how to create a program to begin with. And then this is the edit area. So if I click second mode, I can exit out of there, and I'm back to my main screen. I'm going to go to Program, and I can see our first program under the Execute tab. And to run that, I'm going to hit Enter, and then Enter again, and it does nothing. But that's because I haven't put anything into it yet. So don't worry. If you're at this point, you're just fine. So you're going to clear the screen, go back to Program, and this time we're going to go over to the Edit tab. So we're going to edit our first program here. And I was thinking that for this first video, I would just show you the very basics that are used throughout many of the programs that I have already written on the website. So we're going to talk about storing variables, and then just general displaying them and prompting them. So first of all, I'm going to want to say, let's do the slope formula, which, if you don't know already, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So first off, I'm going to want to display what the program is about. So I'm going to go to Program, and you have 3 tabs here. You have the control list, you have I/O, and execute. And the only ones we're going to worry about right now are the control list and the IO list. The execute list is a little bit more advanced, but hopefully we'll cover that in a later video. So once you go to Program, you're going to go Program, and you're going to go over to IO. Once you're on the IO tab, you have a lot of very useful things here, but the one we're going to talk about is number 3 today, which is display. It sounds exactly like what it does. You can scroll down and click Enter on it, or you can just press 3 to get that. Once you have the display thing in the console here, you're going to want to press alpha, which is this green button in the top left, and then you're going to press plus to get quotation marks. So anything that you display on the screen needs to be sandwiched by quotation marks. So at the start of this line, I'm going to have quotation marks, and at the end, I'm going to have quotation marks again. So I'll display the word slope. S-L-O-P-E. Okay, and we're going to sandwich it up. Now we don't need any semicolons here if you're familiar with Java or a different programming language. Just ending the line just like that. You're going to hit enter, and you're going to want to prompt the first coordinate pair. So when I talk about coordinate pair, I'm talking about x, y, and to prompt that, to ask what we want those variables to be, we're going to go to Program. We're going to go over to the IO list again, and we're going to go down to Prompt. Okay. So you can press 2 or prompt, and we're going to want to prompt a variable. So we can set any of these little green letters on the keyboard to be a value. By using a prompt, we're asking the person who's running the program to put in a number that they want to set to that variable. So if I say prompt, we'll do A. You'd press enter, and then we'll exit out of that. We'll run our program again by clicking on Program, enter. It's going to print the word slope, which is what we put in there, and then it's going to ask us what we want the variable A to be set to. So I'll say 1. Well, it still doesn't do anything because we haven't put much else in. But if we go back to Program and then Edit, and we go back to First, we can come down here and ask for the, let's say, the Y value. So we'll do another prompt. Prompt B. All right, let's say that's our first coordinate pair. There's a more detailed version of this program on the website. If you go over to Programs and click on Slope, this is all typed out in a much neater way, and you can read some of the explanations, but I'm just going to quick type this up and give you an idea. So you want prompt A, prompt B. We're going to go over to prompt again, and we're going to do prompt C, and we're going to prompt one more time. So these AB will be my first coordinate pair, and CD will be my second coordinate pair. So x1, y1, x2, y2. You can label those with display if you'd like to. You don't have to. I'm just going to skip through it for the sake of keeping this video short. We're going to click enter. You can leave as much space as you want. I'm going to spread it out for us. So from there, we are going to want to type in our formula. So y2 is D minus y1, which is B. And we're going to put that over C minus A. So if you know the slope formula, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That will give us our slope. But how do we get that number to save? So we're going to use another button down here called stow, which is short for store. So we're going to store this value, whatever this comes out to be, dB over C minus A. We're going to set that equal to the variable m, I guess. That's usually what we talk about when we're talking about slope. And then we are going to want to print out the what we got. So let's go over here to display. Type in slope is boom. Okay, and then we're going to display our variable. So when you're displaying a variable, such as m in this case, you would not use quotation marks. Quotation marks are only for text. So here we are just going to type the letter M, and that should be it. So I'll quickly scroll back up to the top in case you missed anything. You're displaying the word slope, and then you're going to want to prompt 4 variables. It's in better detail in the Google document I have on the website. We're going to put the equation in here, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We're going to store it using this key down here into M, and then we're going to display it. Right? And that should be our first program. So I'll clear the screen. I'm going to click on Program again, execute first, enter, and you always have to enter a second time or else it's not going to do anything. Enter. Alright, so it's going to ask for the slope, or it's going to give us the slope. So let's say our first coordinate pair is 0, 0. And our second coordinate pair is 5, 5. Then our slope is 1, which makes sense because 5 minus 0 over 5 minus 0 is just 5 over 5 or 1, which makes sense. So this video should hopefully help you get through some of the code that I have typed out on the website so far. But in later videos, I would love to talk about things such as conditional statements, which have to do with if, then, else, while, and pretty much these first 7. So that'll be a lengthy video or a few videos altogether. I would like to talk about get key and output. Those are 2 very useful things once you start getting into more complicated programming. Clear home, clear table, get calc. These are all things you would use just for the sake of being organized. And then when we get into some really deep coding here, we will start talking about things like label, menu, program, and this execute tab. But of course that will be a later video. Hopefully you watch through this whole video and we'll check out more. And if you have any questions, please submit the form and ask away. Thank you so much.